Hey guys, Plamen here, living in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia at the time of this filming of this video. Today I'm going to run you through exactly how I built a 5k per month coaching business at the age of 21 and the exact steps that you can take to do the same in your business and move things forward. So I'm going to run you through basically everything, kind of the journey, the frameworks, the foundations, but also a couple kind of like big realizations and kind of like changes for me from a mindset perspective that really helped me do that as well. Before we begin, I just wanted to give you some context and also be completely vulnerable in this video, in this kind of conversation for the first time in a public domain. So like what I'm going to share in this video about kind of my upbringing, my childhood, my kind of like point to get to this point and the kind of realizations I didn't realize I had. I but I've never shared before, so it's going to be a bit of a personal um growth moment as well for me. So I hope you can kind of like appreciate that, and I hope it's okay for me to share this as well, because for my own personal development I kind of want to share this and I want to progress and move forward as well, so it all makes sense. And the whole thing of me being super honest and super transparent and vulnerable with sharing kind of my upbringing, sharing my story, is more because of a quote I heard, I guess, around 18 months ago, which then spiraled more towards me going into a journey of like self-actualization and self-discovery as well. And it was the quote and the prompt. It was a quote, and I'm not too sure who said it exactly, but it was a quote that literally read something along the lines of, "You're only as sick as your secrets." So in this video, I'm going to share like everything in terms of like this young kids, the upbringing, the story, into building a 5k per month coaching business, being able to travel the world and kind of live his dream lifestyle as well, because I think there's going to be a lot of value in this and how you can do the same. Again, a snapshot of my story. I grew up in Bulgaria. I moved to the UK when I was 7. I didn't speak a word of English when I moved to the UK. And this is stuff I've never shared before, like publicly in a dialogue before. But I was sexually abused as a child. I carried a lot of anger at the world, and it's only been for the last 12 months I can actually like kind of share this quite openly, like that sexual abuse and stuff like that. Like it's only because I've done 12 months plus worth of therapy over the last 12 months that I can kind of see the snapshot of anger, the snapshot of like really wanting to push forward and really driving things forward at a huge pace and like a huge kind of determination, was because of this dark energy and because of this anger to an extent I had of the world, and the pain I had. So there was a lot of this like deep feeling of like being broken, like there's something wrong with me deep down, and that like eventually if I work hard enough and like if I achieve enough, make enough money, I'll fix it, and I will be good enough, like I will have enough, and all of those things were kind of like realizations kind of coming through in the long run. So like short term wise, having that anger, having that energy did help in terms of really being able to get ahead and really be able to push forward. Like at 21, being able to make that kind of money. Like people in my school were going to uni. People like would spend like 5, 6 plus years going to uni, and they wouldn't make the same money I was. And I'm not saying this to be big headed or anything like that, but I was able to do that because I had this kind of anger towards the world, I think, which served me, but also I didn't control it well enough, and then I kind of like self-destructed in the process as well. So it's an interesting story, I think, and I think there's a lot of stuff here that I've never really shared publicly as well. So I think it'll be interesting. So there's 3 big things that helped me build a coaching business at that age to 5k per month. 5k per month, and a few mistakes I made, like I mentioned, that also because of this cost me my sanity and my well-being in the process. I'm going to share literally everything, and you can then take the best bits out of it, apply in your business, and hopefully make more money, help more people, and achieve some amazing things. And disclaimer kind of coming into this as well, like a lot of the strategies that I'm going to share with you will not be the same. Like what the kind of content I posted like 5-6 years ago now probably wouldn't work the same way Instagram now. Like I was sending emails and I was getting people booking in from calls from emails. Like that doesn't really work at the same capacity. I think personally, like in 2024. However, there's a lot of foundational stuff and a lot of psychology related and self-development stuff that if you take from this video can really help you drive forward and grow and build an amazing coaching business as well. And I'm only saying this because I know I've done it myself and I've seen hundreds of coaches do it as well. We've helped hundreds of coaches do the exact same thing as well. So let me go through the first lesson. And this is going to sound counterintuitive, but like I worked as a personal trainer on the gym floor as well. I worked as a personal trainer. I had friends as a personal trainer. I saw a lot of coaches. I met a lot of coaches. Some of my friends at the time were coaches as well. There was two different people, right? Like some people failed as coaches, some people made it, and some people now that like I'm lucky to know and be good friends with are like the leading coaches in the space. And for me, the one kind of realization of who kind of is doing amazing, who is like crushing, like why I was able to do it as well, was because for me personally, hand on heart, the journey and the goal of coaching and the goal of making more money and making 5K a month and pushing things forward, like was never about me wanting to make more money. It was never about, having a G-Wagon. It was like, that is my dream car, but it was never about having a G-Wagon. It was never about having like a Lamborghini or a mansion or living in Dubai. The only reason, and this is like a big driver for me still to this day, the only big reason I wake up excited and wake up kind of wanting to drive things forward is because it's much more about me. It's about kind of like making sure my future family, my future kids, wife, etc., have not got the same kind of upbringing, the same stress, the same discomfort I had growing up. And that to me fires me up way more than if I was trying to like be excited for a Lamborghini. Like to me, that wouldn't get me excited. And I think that's maybe the mistake sometimes I see people make. And a lot of the time, the best and biggest business owners and entrepreneurs I've been lucky to meet, making 6-7+ figures a year, are driven by a bigger mission and purpose than themselves. So for me, it's like just being able to provide an exceptional future for my future kids, because there'll be nothing more I hate in this world than seeing my kids go through the same childhood I went through and the same trauma and the same stress I did. And that's just me being completely honest. That's a big driver for me, right? So I think sometimes it's actually very important to find what is it that's a big driver for you. What do you want to achieve? Like, and what's the big reason? Is it to help more people? And why is it? Like digging deeper into it, like going deeper and asking why a few more times than just once can give you that answer. And actually journaling and doing that, or finding kind of whatever ticks for you, I think is going to be huge. The second thing is, as well, on this kind of as a topic, is I paid for help at a very early stage. Like there was a lot of people and like a lot of personal trainers, a lot of coaches. I was like, to be completely honest, I don't know what it was about me, but I was just very brutally aware. I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't super deep into like a bodybuilding space or anything like that, so it just maybe made it a bit easier for me. Like I know bodybuilders, like not like gonna go on a massive tangent, but I know bodybuilders are actually quite closed off when it comes to wanting to, sell, wanting to promote services and stuff like that. I was just very open. I was like, I was 17, 18 when I first got into coaching. I just finished like college, just dropped out of college. I genuinely had I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, I'm going to try and figure it out on my own, or I could just I could just get help quicker and make things work easier. Like the first bit of money I put down for a mentor, I was scared. Like I was like, "Is like what am I actually paying for? Like, is this gonna work? Is this a scam?" And then I paid for the first one. I got a return or made my money back. Then I paid for someone else, and I paid for someone else. I always got a return because I put money down and I worked incredibly hard to make sure I'm not getting scammed. And I'll ask as many questions as it takes on WhatsApp. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure I don't get scammed and I get money back and I'm not a fool and I'm driving things forward. So like every big fitness like mentorship investment I've made, I've always made money back from it. And I've worked like coincidentally, like with this filming this video, I've worked with like there's five of the biggest fitness mentoring businesses in the world. Like when I was 17 to 21, when I was coaching, I've worked one to one with all like four out of five. So I've seen like the way of different business mentorships run, and I've taken the best out of them, like what's works well for me. I've been able to apply, and it's actually why our clients now get such good results, is because I've actually gone through everything I say, everything I talk about. I've actually done it myself, and I can see it working in real time as well, which is huge. That's the second lesson. Number three was there was an actual strategy and like an actual obsession about just two things. And I just prioritized those two things in my business. One of them was just making sure that when clients paid, they were getting amazing results. That was like the one big thing for me. It was like I would maybe spiraling out a little bit towards my therapy journey, but I grew up with so little money. I would hate seeing like a client pay me to like for a weight loss program and not lose weight. So like I did whatever I take. I'd message people like every day. I'd call them just to make sure they were doing what they were supposed to be doing and get results. Like if there's anything that wasn't like they didn't have in the plan, like recipe guys, like whatever it was, I would be on the case and I'd just be asking them a million times. They would tell me exactly what they needed to get results. I obsessed about getting them results. They got results. They got amazing before and afters, and that's kind of how I was able to get more clients and build that through quicker as well. The second thing, which is a bit of an unsexy, like unpopular opinion, was like that I think is actually really important. I think it's easy at times to slip away from doing, is actually getting new clients through the door as well. So like, you know, like at times it's easy to focus on like shiny objects that have no real tangible outcome towards getting you money through the door. You can focus on creating an email list. You can focus on creating a podcast. You can focus on all these things. The reality is when you're starting out and you're doing like 2 to 3K a month, like how many people are actually going to listen to a podcast you do? Like I'm not trying to be disheartening when it comes to saying this, but like you can create an email list and you can get the email list out to like, you know, 50 people. You can get a podcast out initially to 5, 10, 15 people. The harsh reality of that is it's going to take you so much work and so many podcasts and so many emails that you're going to need to put out until someone is warm enough to buy your coaching, especially if it's quite high ticket and one-to-one. What's an easier thing you can do is to actually speak to people one-to-one, get a really clear understanding in terms of who they want to work, like understand what their goals are, what their challenges is, and move them forward into a call where you can actually offer a solution and they can get to trust you, meet you much quicker than they would of a podcast. You also, by doing that, you're going to be able to build trust quicker. You're going to be able to get sales through the door quicker. You're not going to have to stress about like money coming through like right at the beginning as well. And you're just going to have a much simpler and a easier to run business. Like the worst thing at the beginning, and like I made this mistake like initially and I was like, like I need to pivot. Is focusing on things that like podcasts, websites, like no offense to the graphic designers and like the graphic designers and stuff like that, but again, a lot of the time that's not something that you like. It's just going to take such a long time to get that perfect and get people through the door from that. You'd probably be much better off just doing the faster tasks to get clients, create yourself some breathing room and know there's cash there if you need it, and you've now got a business that kind of runs and functions, and then you can outsource all of that stuff to like someone that's actually good at graphic design, someone that's actually good at helping you know what YouTube content to put out and stuff like that, right? And I think that's where a misconception is at the beginning. Like the biggest things that will help drive your coaching business forward is just speaking to people one-to-one. When you speak to people one-to-one, you know what content to post because you speak to them, you know what they need, you know what they struggle with, and you can actually have a big list of people to follow up with and move forward into a call whenever the time is right for them as well, if they don't sign up right away. That to me sounds like a much safer and much more predictable way to build a business, rather than just putting out podcasts, putting out YouTube, emails or YouTube videos and just hoping, right? And fingers crossed it might come through at some point, you know? Like even with this YouTube video now, and even it's like however this is listened, like I'm planning on having this done into short form content. I'm planning to send this to people when they need it. And a lot of these topics and conversations I like to think were taken from like conversations I've had with coaches, and I'll try to make it valuable based on that, I hope. Anyway, that's the kind of the three big lessons. So just to summarize, one of them, the first one was my own journey and having a much bigger reason than just myself when it comes to pushing things forward. Number two was I paid for help very, very early on. Like I was 18 and I paid like over half of my like salary at the time to work one-to-one with like who's now the biggest like fitness mentoring business, right? Like I did all of that like very, very early on. And then the third thing is that like I just obsessed about getting client results and actually doing the one, like getting clients as well. That's all I cared about. I left my emotions, my ego at the door. All I focused on was just that. Here's a mistake I made as well though, like which is gonna be not what you expect, I think, as well. So like the big mistake I made, and like looking back over this, is because of where I came from and kind of the energy I had towards this. It was very much for me do or die. Like I'll do whatever it takes to get this coaching business off the floor, make sure I can provide for my future family, and like have a safe, predictable business where like things can drive forward. There's like a lot of emotions attached, especially doing this through lockdown and stuff like that. The big mistake I made was I just poured absolutely everything into that business, and like absolutely everything into it. I had no personal life. I had one relationship which killed, like which ended because I just drove myself into the ground into this, and it just worked even harder when that relationship ended. I was not training, like I had no downtime. These were the warning signs I should have really picked up on at the time. And I was just thinking, you know, my mindset, my thought process is, okay, if I have nothing else to do, I can just be working, you know, 80, 90, 100 hours a week to move this business forward. Like it was very much like an Elon Musk style, like attitude I tried to take in his business. And here's the problem: I didn't actually like have the common sense and the foresight to oversee at the time. The problem is you're selling a coaching, like for me anyway, the problem is you're selling a coaching business that people want to aspire to look like and be. If you're selling that and you look burnt out, you look like you have no energy, you look like you're hating life, and you look like, you know, you're tired, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, you're stressed, you're anxious, people are going to see that when you do videos, when you do your video content, when you do your sales calls, when you do your messaging. They're going to see that and they're going to be like, wait, hold on, I'm paying someone to change my life and look better and feel better and be a much better person, but this guy that I'm trying to achieve this, like that I'm paying to help me to do this, looks awful. Like I wouldn't want to do that. So like that's where the disconnect is a lot of the time. And this is where I think it's like something not to forget and not to get caught up in that. And it's like it's got what's going to kill a coaching business with the work, like with the best intentions in the world, because you want to put yourself into it, but you can end up killing your progress in the process, which is not ideal at all. And this is kind of where it can all kind of go away, right? So don't make the mistake I made in that process, and it can really move things forward a lot quicker as well. I hope you found this kind of video helpful. I just had a few bullet points structured out through it. now, like, with, just to summarize, like, having kind of gone through this journey, like that 21, now over the last 4 years, we've helped over 100 coaching businesses grow their business, get freedom, travel more, build an amazing business, and do more of what they love. So if you're looking to do the same, learn from my mistakes and move things ultimately much, much faster, if you head over to my Instagram and you message me the word grow, we can have a bit of a chat, see where your business is at. If I can actually help you, and if I can, I'll run you through exactly how we can do that as well. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do, drop it a like so I know to post more of these style videos. Any other questions, let me know as well. Cheers.